Hi everyone and welcome to my channel. I hope you guys are having a good day, and I want to start this video by saying you are not lazy or broken, because if you have clicked on this video you have already seen the title of that video, and it is how to stop quitting. And I know a lot of times we start thinking that we're so lazy or we're broken or something's wrong with us, but I want you to know that this is not the case. The reason why we keep quitting is not related to you, like the fact that you're broken or lazy. There's most of the time a deeper reason behind this cycle, and all human beings are suffering from the same thing if they don't take action and set systems to break that cycle. So I just want to say nothing is wrong with you, in the sense that this is how we are as human beings, especially in our generation where everything has gotten so easy and convenient. It has become a lot more easy to quit. And so today I want to address this topic, and hopefully it can be useful to some of you guys. So maybe it's important to understand why we quit, because in most situations the reason why we quit is because we lack motivation, because the motivation is what gets us started. And as cliche as it sounds, it's really true. Motivation is only temporary, because it's gonna get you started, you're gonna feel excited, with the motivation you get this adrenaline, your hormones are all over the place, you're happy, you feel like you want to do it. But unfortunately motivation is not always there, and what happens to most people is when this motivation drops, that's when we quit, because it doesn't feel fun anymore, it doesn't feel satisfying, it doesn't feel fulfilling. And so we're like, why am I continuing? I don't feel satisfaction from it anymore. And that's why it's important to rely on systems, because as I said, this motivation is not gonna last. So when you start relying on systems, that's when a lot changes. Because the problem is that each time you quit, you consider yourself a failure, and each time you lose more and more confidence in yourself, and then you start labeling yourself as someone who can't get through with something, someone who can't stick to that. And even when you start talking to people, you're like, yeah, I'm someone, I cannot stick to something, and then you start labeling yourself that way, and which makes it worse, because then you're gonna make it even easier to quit in the future, because you have labeled like yourself like that kind of person. So when you quit, you're like, I couldn't help it, I'm that kind of person anyway. And every time you quit, your self-confidence keep like dropping lower and lower, because you start identifying yourself as a person who quits easily and who quits all the time, which is really bad for your self-esteem, honest. So really, for me, the main message I want to communicate today is that consistency is not about motivation, it's about systems. And I have used this word systems a lot, that's how I like to refer it as, is that you have to make like small, simple, actionable items that are not going to feel as a burden. Because the thing is, as I was saying earlier, when we are motivated, we really get like such a spike of energy, and you want to do everything and you want to do things big because you're motivated, so you have the will and the capacity to do them. However, as I said, when that motivation drops, you will not be able to keep up that same rhythm, because what kept you going was the motivation. So it's really important to start simple. So let me give you a few examples. For example, you want to start workout, like you want to work out more regularly, and when you're motivated, you're like really willing to do so much more than you would normally. Like you're gonna be thinking like, I'm gonna go to the gym every day, I'm gonna go for a run every day, and yeah, after that I'm gonna go cycling, so I'm gonna take my bicycle to go to work every day, because you're super motivated. So you might be able to hold up that rhythm. However, when the motivation like goes down, it can be after a week, sometimes can be after a month. Some people have that motivation even for a few months, but eventually that motivation is gonna drop, and you're gonna struggle to keep up that rhythm, because what kept you going was the motivation. So I always suggest to people, when you start something, you have to put into place a system that's gonna let you maintain that even when you have no motivation. So in example of workout, start slowly. Start by going once a week. You're barely gonna feel a difference in your like lifestyle, but you're building that habit slowly without feeling like it's too much. And even when your motivation lowers, you can still keep up that one time a week because it's not that much, right? Or same with saving money. Like, let's say you're super motivated and you're like, this year I'm gonna start saving so much money, and so you become super straight, you start spending on anything, like you really become super frugal with your money. And at the beginning it's not going to feel annoying to do so because you're really motivated and you know you can do it to save your money, but after a few months or even a few weeks you're going to get tired of it, and then you're going to do the opposite. You're going to splurge on all this shopping and everything you wanted to buy because you weren't enjoying it. So instead of going to like through such a radical change, start slow, you know. Like, I'm gonna start by, let's say you struggle with saving even just like 10 euros per month. You can say like, okay, I'm gonna start with like 50 euros per month. Like, it might not be much, but you're making a change slowly, and then you can start building up on that because you would have built that habit which wasn't that big of an effort. And once that habit is like solid, even when you're not motivated, that's when slowly you will start building up on that. And another system that's really famous and I really recommend is when you want to build a new habit, a new hobby, or something new you want to do, try to link it with an already existing habit. Like, for example, I know some people who really struggle to maintain their skincare routine, for example. So what I say is that link it always to something you do every day. So for example, you brush your teeth every day, right? So every day when you finish brushing your teeth, right away continue with your skincare routine. Because if you wait until right before bedtime, you're gonna be in your bed already, you're watching Netflix, you're gonna feel too lazy, you're not gonna do it. But you're gonna brush your teeth anyway, right? So if you're already up, you're already at the sink, you're already in your bathroom, so just do your skincare at the same time. And it can be the same for a lot of different habits that you have, because this is different for everyone. We each have different habits, but based on the habits in your day, try to link them with a new habit you're trying to put into place, and you'll see you'll be less likely to quit that habit because it's linked to a habit that you already have, that's already like linked in your like day-to-day life because you've been doing it for the longest time ever. And so you will be more likely to continue also that new habit because you have linked that to that old habit. And basically, through that whole process and system, the purpose is to make the goals and the step so small and achievable that it feels ridiculous not to do it. Because you're like, I barely feel it anyway, I might as well do it. Rather than those big goals or big habits that you're trying to set into place right away. And then at some point when you're not motivated, they don't feel as achievable anymore. So basically, I'm not really a big fan of radical transformation. I mean, if you can do it, good for you. But for most human beings, it's really difficult to maintain on the longer like term. And you'll see through those small actions and those small habits, like slowly you'll be building those new things you want to build. You'll slowly also start building again your self-confidence, you know, your self-worth. You're gonna feel like, I am capable, I am worthy. You're not someone who quits, you're someone who builds slowly but surely and who always keeps in mind long-term visions. So really, my tip to you, start today and start small. You don't have to do something big. Like, don't believe everything you see on social media where they're like, you know, go big or go home. Like, do something, even something small, and then be proud of yourself, reward yourself, encourage yourself that you're doing well, you know, and you can be proud of yourself because slowly but surely you're building and going towards your goal habit or your goal project or whatever it is you're trying to build slowly. So I hope this video was useful to you. If you have any questions or if you have any tips or advice for any one of us, feel free to comment. And if you have enjoyed this video, feel free to like it as well. And if you want to see more content like this also, please subscribe to my channel, and I hope I will see you in my next video. See you later!